thing, just to bring it back into this thing, is that you want to kill people's desire to even tell the truth. You want to kill their will. And that is what we watched. And then we saw it be intentional. So I want to play one small piece of Randy Weingarten, and just to show how intentional this whole thing was. And it is going to be a little bit blurry for my audience, but I did that on purpose. So let me see.
Everybody else who said, let's also try to envision how to use this for what the society that we.
I'll just play it one more time. Just 20 seconds, so, or maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I have to leave it for a second and then come back. Okay, one more time. Nope. All right, well, anyways. So she says, how can we use this for the society that we want to see?
In March 2020.
Right. 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 So we're exactly, my friends, at 6 years. And again, it feels personal. It makes me angry because pretty much exactly this day is when we closed down. And the reason I know that is because it was a week before my son's birthday. And all of a sudden, I had to tell all of his friends, you don't get a birthday party. He doesn't get a birthday party. And we really, within that first week, we were like, yes, he does. And none of our friends would come, right? Because they were all scared. And the crazy thing to me about them being all scared is that I have an only child, and I called the school and I said, I will wrap my son in bubble wrap. I do not want him to die, right? Like what can I do? And the school counselors told me, and they quote, Carrie, this really doesn't affect children. No, if it puts you at any kind of ease, no teachers, no counselors are going to pull their kids out of school, because this doesn't affect kids. It affects the elderly. So we really, like, if you need to, that's fine, but we really would encourage you not to, because it just doesn't affect children. And 3 days later, come get your kids. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was a period when they were telling the truth. I mean, I even have a letter from the head of the Department of Health and Hygiene from like February 2020. I have it somewhere here in the house. I saved it, and it said, there's this virus. It's in China. It's coming through from travelers. Don't worry. It's not particularly dangerous to you or to children. Please do not send your children into school with face masks. They impede learning. And if they get in the way of the class, your child may be asked to remove them. February 2020.
Yeah, that's watching them do that and watching how calculated it was. I'm going to share that video too, just of how calculated, how they would say one thing and then switch it. And then what I noticed in this little piece was, did they not only switch it, but then they used words. They started to use the kind of coded language, misinformation. You know, you were like, we're the victims because people said something that they weren't supposed to say. Mm-hmm. That starts now. So let me pull that one up.
American Association of Pediatricians is clarifying its stance on reopening schools in the fall. They say their guidance has been misunderstood and misrepresented.
The AAP's new stance emphasized the need for substantial new investments in schools in order for them to reopen.
Yeah.
It was the bottomless pit. Like it was like you'd never get to the goalpost. You were set up to fail. The reality was that the schools had been completely safe. There was nothing wrong with the schools. Tracy Hogue talks about the schools in Scandinavian countries. They didn't make any adjustments. Everybody was fine. And then you have like people like Randy Weingarten saying, well, they're Scandinavian. Like, what are you trying to say? Are you like being Scandinavian doesn't give you any natural health advantages. It's just a subset, of a population. Like, oh, they're Europe and they have better healthcare. Again, doesn't impact how safe somebody is in the schools, but they use the term resources as really, an extortion. It was a ransom note that could never be paid.
Right. Well, one of the pieces where Randy Weingarten is talking, and she says, uh, social justice is, or equity is social justice, equity is racial justice, equity is gender justice, and also even the word safe, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
safe, once again, I know I'm using like liberal words, but coded. These words are coded just like
Yeah.
all students are coded. We care for all students. No, you focus on a particular subset. That's what you focus on. You don't care for all students, because if you did, then you would realize that the people who were most disadvantaged, as you show in your film, people who use sports to stay away from gangs, and then they couldn't even play. Watching these kids who that was their chance into a college,
Yeah.
and they lost it for greed. Gosh, what's the actress who
Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda saying COVID is a gift to the left.
God's gift to the left.
God's gift to the left. And then she kind of smugly smiles. Oh, that was a hard one to watch. It was hard. Like, I sat there going, I don't like to be an angry person, but this makes me angry, because they really did do such a disservice to our kids and to us, because really it was that mental breaking. Just like the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks went after, I want to pull it back into that because it's kind of what I do. The Bolsheviks, when they went after Christians, for sure, Orthodox Christians, their goal was to make sure that everything they believed was true. They couldn't even look in the face. That's how much they wanted them destroyed, very much internally. So like their sacrament became a mockery of sacrament. And I don't want to go into more detail than that, but it became a mockery. And it's the same thing when you're looking at something and you know the truth. It's very obvious. It's right in front of your face, but everybody's repeating over and over again. The press, right? The press is repeating over and over again this this lie until it breaks people. And I think we have a lot of broken people today because of it.
And broken institutions. I mean, I was just talking to James Lindsay about this, how people are really kind of in a quagmire where they can't really reliably, differentiate and triangulate, because the institutions that they used to trust are completely broken. And yes, you do have a Jay Bhattacharya or Marty Makari or a Secretary Kennedy who are trying to rebuild them. But unfortunately, the left has engaged in such vile character assassination that none of these honest people, and I think all three of them are incredible leaders who really truly care about this country's best interest and our health and our wellness. I don't think that they can recapture trust quickly enough, and it just leaves us in this terrible situation. I mean, personally, as a former Biden voter and a lifelong Democrat in New York City, I voted for President Trump in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best decision I ever made. I am absolutely astonished at what an effective president he is. And I don't think that people, a huge subset of this population, can even see him for his deeds. They only see the cloud that was the smoke that was blown into their eyes, and they can't even get through it. And that's deeply troubling.
Right. I mean, the pandemic is propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean by so many people who are broken. Like, I made a video yesterday just about why I support certain things, why I support caucus. I didn't mention President Trump. I didn't mention anything like that. I said, our kids deserve to have the freedom to think. And immediately people start sending you messages, and they're just so broken, right? They're just so immediately like, you are this and you deserve this. And you're like, holy cow, you're an adult, right? Like, but they're broken. They've been infantilized. They've been, and I think there's also they don't want to admit. I think
Sunk
that a lot of,
cost fallacy.
right?
Sunk cost fallacy.
What'd you say?
Sunk cost fallacy. Like
Explain.
they've invested too much in a sinking ship, and now they're going down with their ship. Kind of like parents who trans their kids and
Yes,
become the most fervent activists,
you're
and
right.
they can't even look at the science, like the research, the testimonials of the detransitioners. They can't hear any of it.
Well, it's exactly what Yuri Bezmenov said. When
Mhm.
Yuri Bezmenov said, it doesn't matter if I take you to Russia and I show you the camps, you won't believe it.
Yeah.
And that's been hard to watch with adults. And also just the programmed hatred. That's what I've realized in terms of when they say it's all right to it's good to not tolerate the intolerant. Well, we're considered intolerant, or some of the other terms that they use for, like pandemic denier, just different things that people will use to slander you. And that went to the highest levels, right? I mean, the press was saying it, the president Biden was saying it, his administration, these people are crazy. And it was just like, these
Well, we were
the
domestic
experts yesterday.
terrorists, right?